Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and today I'm going to be talking about the top remaining free agents that the Redskins should target. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get right into it. As you guys know, the draft ended a couple of days ago, and we did pretty good overall, but there's still a couple needs that we need to address, including tight end, cornerback, and offensive tackle. So I'm going to be talking about a few players that could help us out immediately, and I'm also going to be talking about some important Jonathan Allen news if you guys already didn't hear about it. So, number one free agency target, in my opinion, is Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan played 16 games last year with the Titans, had 4 interceptions for 16 yards, forced 4 fumbles, had 4.5 sacks, and 113 tackles. He's one of the better cornerbacks in the league. I don't think he's elite necessarily, but definitely last year he had an elite year. He's 28 years old. He plays in the slot, which could be a bad fit for the Redskins just because Kendall Fuller plays slot, but Logan Ryan said he's most comfortable, or Kendall Fuller said he's most comfortable playing on the outside. So that's might be where he plays. So if that's true, I think Logan Ryan would be a great fit. He's one of those hybrid players that Ron Rivera likes. Like I said, Ron Rivera loves these hybrid players that can do everything. And look at this. He played all his games, had 4 interceptions, so he's good in pass coverage. 4 forced fumbles, and 4.5 sacks, and tackled really well too. So I think overall he's a great player and would be a great fit. And we have so much cap space, especially after shipping off Trent Williams. So I think around 11 mil a year would not be bad at all, and maybe 10 mil if he can't find a deal. I think that would be great for us. He also had a game-sealing pick in the playoffs, so I think this is the number one free agent that we should try to get, just because he can do everything. And if we sign him, our secondary becomes a whole lot better. And I think our secondary would be around an average secondary in the league. And then you throw in our great defensive line, it's going to make them even better. So Logan Ryan would be a dream scenario. I hope we can try to get him. And he's still relatively young, so that would be a great pickup. The next player, sorry, is Prince Amukamara, who played for the Bears last year. Didn't have a great year and is somewhat old, but he's one of those guys that he's a veteran presence. He's 30 years old, played in 15 games last year, started all of them, had 10 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, recovered 1 fumble too, and had about 55 tackles. Didn't have any interceptions, but the year before he had 3 interceptions, so he's not a bad player. I think he would probably start for us, and I think be better than a couple players on our team right now. And I think he would be a decent fit for us. Definitely like Logan Ryan better. Let's look a little more at his advanced stats. So last year allowed about a 66 completion percentage and 105 quarterback rating. So not great, but the year before that he played a lot better, around 57% and a 75 passer rating. So I think this would be a good guy, because we got a couple young cornerbacks with Jimmy Moreland, Ronald Darby, Fabian Moreau. They're all kind of somewhat young, and I think Prince Amukamara could come in and help get them mature. And we also got a couple young safeties that we drafted in Cameron Curl and Kaliki Hudson. Kaliki Hudson can play both safety and linebacker, but he can help develop them. Overall, I think this would be a good signing. Probably not my number 3 cornerback or number 4 cornerback on the market. Next, we're going to go to Darqueze Dennard, who played for the Bengals last year, signed a contract, but then they didn't come to terms. So it was either I think it was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, or it was with the Raiders. They couldn't come to terms on a contract after they agreed on it. But he's another one of these veteran guys, 28 years old. Did miss a couple games last year, actually more than a couple. Only played 9 games last year, had 5 pass deflections. But when he did play, if you look at the advanced stats, he only allowed a 48% completion percentage and a 74 pass rating. So he played very well last year when he was on the field, allowed 1 touchdown, and only allowed 188 yards when people were targeting him. I like him a lot. Yes, he didn't play enough games last year, which is a concern. But before that, the 3 years before that, he was pretty healthy. He hasn't missed too many games in the past. Misses about 2 games a year, which is not much at all. And I think even if he doesn't play a lot of games, we need depth at the cornerback position because we only have I think 7 cornerbacks on the roster, and only a few of those are good, solid cornerbacks that can start in the NFL. So I think we need to bring in a couple more, even if they're not going to start, to provide depth. But I do think Gennard would start, and he's a good fit. Still relatively young, and can contribute right away and make this secondary a lot better than it is. So that's that. We're going to go on to the next cornerback before we go on to the offensive side of the ball. So Eli Apple, he's kind of controversial. He would be my last cornerback, probably him or Prince Amukamara. He played 15 games last year, so health is not an issue in his both in his last couple years he's played. He's not been hurt much. In 2019, didn't have any interceptions, 4 pass deflections, a forced fumble, 58 tackles, so nothing too special. The year before that, he didn't have, or he had 2 interceptions. So he started out kind of rocky in New York, kind of bounced back in New Orleans. I wouldn't be mad with this pick. Like I said, 63% completion percentage against him. That's not that bad. Allowed 630 or 680 yards, which is a lot. It's not terrible, but it is not great. I think this guy would be okay to bring in, like I said, for cornerback depth, and he's super, super young, 24 years old, 24 to 25 years old, so he still has a lot of room to improve. And yeah, in 2018, played a lot better. His completion percentage was 48%. So I think he could be a guy that we could bring in, probably better than a couple players on our team right now. I think he's better than Fabian Moreau and better than Jimmy Moreland. At least right now, Jimmy Moreland still obviously has a lot more to prove, and I think he can become a solid starting cornerback in the league. But Eli Apple is solid and could help us right away, and we do need cornerback depth, so I think it wouldn't be bad. I think it would be cheap too. He did sign with the Raiders, I believe, and then the deal didn't go through again. So like I said, not a bad this would be an okay signing. Wouldn't be too happy about it, wouldn't be too upset about it. So now going on to the offensive side of the ball, we still do need a tight end, and this guy before last year, or the last couple years, played really good for about 8 or 9, or actually like 10 straight years. He played about 15 games, and really was a really good tight end for about 10 or 6-7 years. Was a above average to elite tight end in the NFL. The last couple years though in Tennessee hasn't been healthy, which really has killed him. But before that, really hasn't had health issues. If you look at 2017, one of his better years in the NFL, had 807 yards and had 3 touchdowns, and that was only 3 years ago. So I think he could come up. I think if we signed him, he would be our second best tight end, at least, maybe first, maybe even the best. But the only problem is injury history, or not injury history necessarily, but the last couple of years he's been pretty injury prone, and also the age factor. So that's why I would kind of stay away from it. But I wouldn't be mad with this pickup, and he's the best tight end available on the market. So if we were to address the tight end in free agency, I think Delanie Walker would be the best available tight end to go for, and probably the best tight end on our roster. You could argue Logan Thomas might end up being better, but I think Delanie Walker is right away is gonna be better than Logan Thomas, but maybe at the end of the season Logan Thomas is better. We'll see. But yeah, in 2015 had 1,000 yards, 2016 had 800 yards, and 2017 also had 800 yards. 3 straight years making the Pro Bowl, and he's not far removed from that. So I think he would be a solid pickup for us. And yeah, I would go for him. if we think we still need to adjust the tight end position. So the next couple guys are offensive linemen. If I think we still need to adjust the position to help Sadiq Charles develop, I think Jason Peters would be a perfect addition to the team. He only allowed about 3 sacks last year, played for the Eagles, is old, about 37, 38 years old, so it would be a 1 year, 2 year deal. Only problem, though, is that he has the same agent as Trent Williams, and I don't want to deal with that again. But if we can find a way around that, and I think Delaney Walker does too. But if we can find a way around that, I would like it because he would play at least okay to average football, which is better than we got last year from Donald Penn, and he would help develop Sadiq Charles, which I really think Sadiq Charles, if he gets the right development, I think he can be an above average tackle in this league, maybe a Pro Bowl tackle. So that's why I want to get Jason Peters in there to help him develop. And it would be a 1 year deal. And I think he would help right away, like I said, and also develop Sadiq Charles. He 1 year removed from playing decent. He has had some injury concerns, and obviously would only be 1 year due to his age. But I think that would be a great signing. Look for these signings in the next couple days, guys, because the free agency period now you can sign players without getting a compensatory pick penalty. So last guy on the list is another offensive tackle, but he did play for the Jets. His name is Kelvin Beachum. I've been on his train for a couple months now, ever since we were starting looking at free agency. Kelvin Beachum is a good tackle, a little bit younger than Trent Williams, a lot younger than Jason Peters, but he could come in, help develop Sadiq Charles, and we could, if he honestly though, if he could play left tackle and develop Sadiq Charles, and Sadiq Charles could eventually take over Morgan Moses' spot, or it could be the other way around where Sadiq Charles plays left tackle and Kelvin Beachum plays right tackle once Sadiq Charles is ready. So let me know about all those players. Which one is your favorite? Any players that you like better uh, for us to sign? Also, the Jonathan Allen news. I'm not going to take too long about it. Might make a video on it, but we did exercise his 5th-year deal, so he will be with us for at least 2 more years before a contract extension. So I'm happy about that. That was a no-brainer. And Reuben Foster's deal, 5th-year deal, is going to be, or when we can choose to do that, the expiration date on that the deadline is May 4th. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the like button, and peace.